everybody, John King with Summit Funding. I'm recording this on Friday, December the 9th, and it is a big week next week for interest rates, and I want to tell you all about it in a minute. I want to talk about something a little more serious, and I don't do this very often, but this was a big one. I want to share a little bit about an amazing guy named Randy Elliott. And a lot of you who are watching this are realtors. You're in the Lodi, Stockton area, and you probably all know Randy very, very well. Monday night, Randy lost a 6-month battle to some major lung infection and really spent the last 6 months in the hospital. And we lost him on Monday. And I want to, not to sound cheesy, but I want to dedicate this week's video to him. Randy was an amazing guy. If you knew Randy, you'd never forget him. And why I bring it up, I'm not going to dwell too far into this, but why I bring it up is because Randy represents to me what we all make the mistake of, and that is focusing on business versus personal. And Randy embodied the perfect combination of both. Randy never met somebody that he didn't love and that didn't love him. And he was working while he was having fun. And he loved life, and life loved him. And he loved people, and people loved him. And as I reflect back on Randy's life, and I've known Randy for 15 years, it really ever since he got into, probably longer than that, but Randy gave everything he had to living his life to the fullest. And when we think about planning our business and we think about what's important, think about Randy. Think about what we can learn from Randy's focus on getting everything he could out of his life. He left nothing on the table, and he lived a full, rich life. And he made sure that he was doing business with his friends and his friends with the people he did business with. And so if there's anything that I can tell you about Randy that I want you to take away, to store in your heart and store in your mind and to think about as you're going through your daily business is how can I be more like Randy? How can I be more joyful in every single conversation I have with every single person, and inclusive, and just finding a way to make business part of your personal life and your personal life part of business. There was no line between the two, but he lived the fullest in both areas. And so I do dedicate this week to Randy. I think he's an amazing guy. He's a great, great friend, and I will miss him forever. Okay, let's talk about rates. Next week is going to be a crazy week for interest rates because if you remember, on November 10th, we saw interest rates drop significantly. And the reason interest rates dropped significantly is because that was the first inflation report where inflation started coming down lower than what expectations were. That's been our problem all year. It's why the Fed's been raising interest rates. And November 10th was the first time that the inflation report came in lower. Well, the next month, the next report that's coming out of that exact same report is Tuesday the 13th. And that's a big one because the Fed has made it clear anything happening once does not mean a pattern. So they're expecting that, hey, it's going to dip and it'll come back up. I don't think it's going to come back up. I think that there's a good chance we're going to see inflation dip again. If it does, it confirms the pattern. It makes it really hard for the Fed to continue significantly raising interest rates. And here's the thing about mortgage rates. They predict ahead of what the Fed is actually doing. And so the Fed is right now on an uphill trajectory. As soon as the Fed makes it clear they're going to level off, mortgage rates are going to fall because mortgage rates have come down some just based on the fact that inflation is pointing towards getting back under control. I think we're going to see interest rates coming down next year. I've said 12 to 18 months from now. I think it's going to be sooner. I think we're going to see we're definitely going to see rates in the 5s in the spring. I think we could see rates in the 4s before the end of the year. But there's a lot of variables coming into play, which is why next week is critical because we can get 2 months in a row of a good inflation report. We're going to see interest rates continue to come down. Then on Wednesday, the Federal Reserve completes their 2 days of meetings. Every 6 weeks, they meet for 2 days and they announce their update and how much they're going to raise interest rates as they've done all year. We expect an interest rate increase of 0.5%. I don't think they're going to do anything different. If they do, it might shock the market. What the market's more concerned about is what the Fed says on Wednesday about the inflation report on Tuesday. So here's the deal. If you're looking at homes and you're out writing offers right now and you get into contract on Monday, you have to decide if you're a gambler or not. because Tuesday morning, I believe rates are going to be higher or lower. They're not going to be the same because that inflation report is really going to change everything about the direction that rates have been going. Same thing's going to happen on Wednesday when the Fed makes their announcement about how they're reading the tea leaves. So just be clear, super volatile week, probably the most volatile week we're going to see before the end of the year. Once we get through next Wednesday, we're going to have a feel for where rates are going to go through the end of the year. And they're either going to keep moving up or they're going to keep moving down. But right now, the last few days, they've been pretty steady. That's over with on Tuesday and Wednesday. I do not believe they're going to stay steady. We've been right around the low to mid sixes, depending upon the circumstances for the best qualified people. And we're either moving into the fives or we might be moving back up to the sevens. I am looking forward to talking to you next Friday and filling you in on exactly what happened. In the meantime, if you happen to be in the Roseville area tomorrow, depending on when you're getting this, Saturday the 10th, I am doing my Pictures with Santa. Come on by between 10 and 1 to my Roseville office. Otherwise, have an absolutely fantastic week, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.